welcome to the Tea and the Butty podcast with me, Dominic.
And me, Erica.
And today we're going to talk about Cardiff.
Cardiff.
Cardiff, Wales.
Cardiff.
Cardiff for you. You love Cardiff, you do. Yes. Loves it, he does. Yes, the boyo. We've been to Cardiff.
Yeah.
I've been a few times. You've been...
Once.
Oh, was it only once? I thought you might have been twice.
I think it was just once.
Just once we went up? Yeah, we went up for like a day trip when we were staying there way back.
I think it was just
a few
once.
years back now, yeah. I mean, it was an hour from where I lived in the UK, so it's the capital of Wales.
Mm.
And
I was surprised to see, though, that it hasn't been the capital of Wales for that long.
No, before that it was, I don't know, Carnarvon, I think. I'm not sure what the capital of Wales was. It's only been the capital since 1950, I think.
Yeah, like that's not
something
very
like that.
long.
Yeah,
that's not very long for Britain, anyway.
But it was Cardiff, Wales, Cardiff, or whatever it is in Welsh.
Whatever.
I don't speak the Welsh language. Diolch yn fawr. It hasn't been that. But I mean, it's quite a metropolitan city. I mean, it's a university there, so a lot of international students come there too.
Yeah.
And a lot of people go, I'm studying in Cardiff.
It's got a college town vibe to it too. Yeah. But being from, we live in Austin.
Yeah, this
Texas,
is a college town.
Yeah, so if you know anything about Austin or the University of Texas, it's here in Austin, and just college towns have a vibe to them. They do.
They do, yeah.
You can always feel like when
young
you go
people.
when you go into a city that has a pretty big university. I mean, obviously, a lot of towns and a lot of small cities have some type of college,
Yeah.
But if it's like a fairly decent sized university, the city that it's in has just a feel to it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of youngsters there. There's a lot of, the
youngsters. Grandpa.
A lot of youngsters there. There is.
Yeah, you went all Cornish for a second.
Youngsters. Well, it's supposed to be American, actually.
Okay.
Yes. But there's a lot of youth there.
Mm-hmm.
Youth. And,
it's got a lively feel about it.
It's got a lively feel about it,
yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of things, it's an easy drive over the Severn Bridge, which is toll-free now, I hear.
Yeah.
I think it's been toll-free for a while now. But from Bristol, I mean, Bristol's another place in Somerset. Well, actually, it's just Bristol because Somerset surrounds the counties that surrounds it. Mm-hmm. That's in England, so you go over the Severn Bridge, you're in Wales then.
Yeah, it was somewhere recently that we were watching or something, and they were just like, oh, I didn't realize you had to go over water to get into Wales. I can't remember what that was.
I think American Travelers or something, I think.
Maybe, yeah.
But you don't always have to do that. It's like...
Oh, really?
No, there's no...
It's not like the Rio Grande where it separates all the way along
it doesn't
the
go
border.
all the way up. No,
okay.
I don't think it does. I mean, I think the River Severn kind of goes into Wales, and then... and then it kind of intersects the land border between Wales and England.
Yeah.
But, if you're going into South Wales from Bristol on the M4, you're going to go across the Severn Bridge and you're going to think, I'm going to have to go across water,
Yeah.
And that's it,
Yeah.
It's like someone said it's like the George Washington Bridge.
I don't remember going across a bridge when we...
Yeah.
Does the train go across the bridge?
Yeah, the train goes across, yeah, but it's...
I guess I'm always asleep.
You're just always asleep for these journeys. Yeah, I think you do. Yeah, I mean, we haven't driven across it, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, when you drive across it, you'll see.
Well, we would have in the bus.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Yeah, we went across it on the bus, so...
Yeah, I don't
that's just you were just asleep. You were just like, night.
You would think I would go, oh yeah, water,
I mean, it's a river, so it's not like a huge expanse.
I can remember the bridge, so I mean, obviously we went across it. And it kind of
goes out into the estuary between the north of Devon and Cornwall and Wales, and the south of Wales, so it flows out into the Irish or the Atlantic whatever you want to call it.
Anyway, let's pull this back on topic.
Pull this back to Cardiff. Cardiff.
Yeah.
It's in the south of Wales, southeast of Wales.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we went there for a day trip.
Yeah.
And you wanted to see the castle, didn't you?
Well, I think the reason we went there, unless it was a whole separate day, but I think the reason we went there was for the Doctor Who experience.
Yeah, that wasn't the separate day. No, we went. That was the same day,
right?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the reason we went to Cardiff was because we're Doctor Who fans.
Yeah, and they filmed a lot in Cardiff in the reboot series now.
Yeah.
In the like with the 9th Doctor and the 10th and the 11th. And I think they still do, because I think they still have their operations there at Roath Lock in the BBC studios there. They filmed a lot on location there.
Mm-hmm.
And
we had just finished too. I think we had just finished Torchwood.
Yeah,
also.
And that's filmed in Cardiff.
Yeah. So I was like, oh yeah, I want to go see these places and feel like I'm like
in Torchwood.
Yeah, Captain Jack Harkness, you know.
Captain Jack Harkness.
Yeah.
That bloody Jack Harkness, I tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went out there. That was the same thing. And it was the Doctor Who experience out in Cardiff Bay. It's closed now. It's no longer.
The Doctor Who experience is closed?
They closed it down,
oh, God.
Yeah. They weren't getting... And there's no word in it reopening somewhere else. Because I think they originally had it just outside of London. Then they moved it to Wales and opened it there. And now it's just closed, you know, so...
That's so weird, because there was a decent amount of people there. And the funny thing was there was a bunch of Americans there as well.
Well, there was a couple of Americans there that were just kind of like, oh...
No, there was a bunch. Like, I could hear their accents, you know, and I was like, oh, yeah, they were either American or Canadian, but I'm fairly sure
they were American. Yeah, just
and
Americans,
I was just like, oh, that's
all over the place.
That's funny, because, you know, I don't know.
I mean,
Americans in Wales.
Well, no, a couple of them just like... No, a couple of them did come... They come... The ones who were in the line, because we were going to do the whole experience with the Doctor, you know, we were going to go on that tour. And Matt Smith's... Because it was the time of Matt Smith's... I think Peter Capaldi had just taken over as the 12th. But they still had Matt Smith's footage on there. And he was doing it. We were in line to do that tour. And there was a couple of Americans behind us going, oh, I didn't realise it was this far out from London. Oh, you know, it's 4 hours. Oh, you know, it's just like, I thought it was just going to go in here. And, you know, they were just chatting about it. It was just like, they'd obviously like come to London. They were doing the tourist thing. And they were like, oh, let's go do the Doctor Who experience.
Yeah.
And then they did it. And they were just like, oh, this is 4 hours. Yeah, I didn't realise it was going to be this far out, you know.
Yeah.
Because I guess they think everything is just so close together.
Is Cardiff 4 hours? It's not 4 hours.
Yeah, it's about 3 hours at least.
Yeah, it's about 3.
But still, it's like, you know, 3 hours to somebody, you know. Because people over here don't like driving 20 minutes.
Don't they? I think in Britain people don't like driving 20 minutes.
Well, the thing is, like, it's 20 minutes from here, from where we are in Austin to the south of Austin, right?
Yeah, I mean, general rule
and
of
when we get people on Craigslist...
this is totally off topic again.
This is totally off topic, but
we're just having a little chat here. I mean, excuse us, okay?
Yeah. But it's... You know, we have people, and you say, oh, I'd like to come pick up that thing, you know, you're selling on Craigslist or whatever. Where are you located?
Yeah.
And they go, oh, we're here. And they go, oh, it's going to be too much of a drive. Ooh, drive in and traffic.
To go pick up something, it's just like, yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's because they want us to come down in the price.
Yeah, totally but they say, oh, can I meet you somewhere? But it's like, you know, 3 hours.
But I mean, 3 hours, like, my mom and I have driven to Dallas to go see someone in concert in 3 hours and come back on the same night.
Yeah.
You know, it's
You're
like,
crazy people. That's what you are.
It's like
crazy.
3 hours to an American in the car is not generally that
crazy.
long. Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. That's what you are. But anyway, yeah, we got the castle in Cardiff.
Yeah, so I didn't know what to expect Cardiff, you know. It's like...
I think the more it's built atop a nearly 2,000-year-old Roman fortification.
The castle you're talking about.
Yeah, the castle, yeah.
Yeah, so in Cardiff, one thing that I remember is, we arrived at the Doctor Who experience. So we were with one of Dominic's friends, and we drove over, and I think we parked at the experience, which was like on the bay.
Yeah, it's on the bay, yeah. And
we just kind of walked around there, and if you're a Doctor Who or Torchwood fan, then you'll recognize locations.
Torchwood didn't really. I mean, Torchwood didn't really run on for as long as they thought it was going to.
Yeah, but they did show it over here on BBC America. But you'll recognize filming locations, and then the bay itself is beautiful because it's a bay, you know. And so I think we drove then from there, or maybe we left the car, but I seem to think we drove, and he parked then closer to town.
Yeah.
In like a shopping mall parking garage, I seem to think.
Yeah, something, yeah.
We got out there and we walked down this like pedestrianized street.
Thoroughfare, yeah.
Yeah, it was quite a long street, and it was so cute, and it was so different. You know, we talk on here a lot about, or I think Dominic's pointed out before, that all the American flags everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
But on this pedestrianized street going through, I guess it was probably like the middle of Cardiff, no cars, you know, there's like bicycle parking and everything kind of down the middle. But I would just remember it being all lined with the Welsh flag. Kind of like,
no, you will see that in
kind
Wales.
of like the mall in...
And it's a capital city,
kind of like the mall in London. You know, the mall leading up to Buckingham Palace
has got all the British flags.
All the Union Jack flags. This street had all like Welsh flags. Like every other building had a flag hanging off of it. And I was like, oh, so it's so cute. You know, like... Oh, I'm in Wales.
I'm in Wales. I'm in Wales.
And we walked down that...
Wales, baby.
Yeah, and we walked down that street, and just, like, at the end of the street, there was this old, like, stone wall that was, like, sky high, you know?
Yeah.
You couldn't see... I mean, you could see the top of it, obviously, but you couldn't see anything past it at all. And I was just like, this looks like castle walls. And you guys were like...
This looks like castle walls.
And it was just like really long. You couldn't see like where it ended in either direction, where we hit it. And you guys, and Dominic and his friend were both just like, well, yeah, because it's a castle, you know. And that's where I was just kind of like, wait a minute. Because it was just like on a main street, and the other side of this, so one side of the street is all castle walls, like as far as you can see in either direction.
Yeah, that's the outer perimeter of the wall.
Yeah. And then and then there's sidewalk there, and then there's this big road, and then on the other side of the street, which is where we were, there's like all shops and Starbucks and like
Greg's.
I want to say Radio Shack.
You took a photo you took a photo to kind of like illustrate it. You were like, oh, look,
there's like electronic stores and sunglasses stores and just whatever, you know.
You fast food and
yeah, pizza places and like little restaurants with like chairs and then just a bank or office buildings or whatever. And I seem to remember, maybe I'm not remembering right, but I seem to remember some kids walking past with backpacks. Not like little kids, but like maybe young teens, schools, like junior high, like 11, 12, 13-year-olds. Yeah. And I remember just thinking, like, it just dawned on me in that moment. Like, you guys are just, like, walking to work, gonna stop at Starbucks and get a coffee, gonna stop and get a... whatever.
Pasty.
From Greg's every day, or going to school.
I'm going to school.
And you're just walking right past a castle, like, every single day. Like, it's just absolutely normal.
My castle.
And I mean, to British people, it is normal. And I think...
we do take it for granted. Yeah.
Well, you don't think about it, do you? You just don't think about it at all.
No, because it's been there since before we were born.
You just think, oh yeah, that's the castle. Like, that's normal. It's so weird to me. It is just so bizarro world, like Seinfeld style bizarro world, that people just walk past this castle every day, like nothing. And so, so then I'm like, okay, what? It's a castle? Like right here in the middle of town? Okay.
But it's like the outer perimeter of the wall. You get, you pay to go in, and then you go through the grounds.
Well, no, we walked, didn't we? And the entrance is kind of open, and you could walk in there. Like, you could walk through like at the Tower of London, for instance, you couldn't walk through that.
Yeah,
you had to pay outside here, and then you could walk through it.
Yeah.
But at Cardiff Castle, you could walk through the outer walls, like
a little way
into the castle grounds before you had to pay to then continue on. So we did that, or I did anyway. I can't remember where you guys were. I was like, yeah, I'm going. And I'm going in there, and you can see all the grounds. You can see the hill with the freaking castle on the top of the hill. And it's just like, what? And there's like a little Welsh flag just like flapping in the wind on the top of this freaking like medieval style castle. And I was just like, what? You had to pay to get in, but you could just stand there. And I remember they were a little bit like, because I was taking pictures.
Yeah, they were a little bit.
They were a little bit like, okay, yeah, you know, because we weren't going to pay to go in because, well, I guess we didn't have the time. And also it was rain. It was bucketing down rain that day. It was just like a really freaking miserable day.
Rainy days.
But yeah, I was just completely amazed.
Taken aback by it all.
Yeah. And the castle looked really cool, and I definitely want to go back and look at that castle, like the castle grounds more in depth, because I'm not sure exactly how old it was, but
yeah, I'm not sure either.
It looked like medieval style.
Some of the oldest sections date back as far as the 10th century. So.
Okay, well, there you go.
So, you know, it's like it's been kind of like, you know, propped up since then, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
And it's on Castle Street in Cardiff.
Castle Street, of course, yeah.
It's the Castle Street.
It's like, oh yeah, my office on Castle Street, across the street from the castle, you know.
But yeah, another one we like doing in Cardiff is there's a lot of these are in like Britain as well, in like towns and cities and stuff. Especially London, obviously. The Victorian shopping arcades. Yeah. Which were like the first kind of like indoor shopping malls.
I think we walked through that.
And they dissect the city centre, so, you know, they're like a old covered pedestrian thoroughfare, you know, like between streets, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and they're covered, like, and, you know, they were built to, like, allow residents and visitors to enjoy shopping indoors without the rain or, you know, the bad roads or whatever, you know. And the oldest of them is the Royal Arcade, which was built in 1858. Yeah. And, you know, like many of the original shop fronts exist unchanged to
We're
this
getting
day.
this information, by the way, from planetware.com.
Yeah. And though the wares sold may have evolved over the decades, nowadays you'll be faced limitless choices of Welsh crafts and woolen goods, you know.
Yeah. I don't remember if we went through that or
not.
I
don't think we went through the Royal one, but yeah, we definitely went through one, and we went into a shopping mall which was more modern. Yeah. Because it had Forever 21 and kind of stuff
it was
in there.
The stores and the style that the stores were in was like an American shopping mall, only I do think that the top was all glass.
All like glass, that. Yeah, usually it is.
Yeah.
Because the one in Llanelli is like that too. You know?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, well, there's a pyramid. There's a pyramid of glass. I remember. Yeah, it's just like a skylight. You know, to let lateral light in, so they don't have to. You know. Right. And they close it at like 6 o'clock anyway, so when it gets dark, it's like, you know, you don't have to see in there.
Yeah, so there's a lot of good shopping in Cardiff. The mall was very huge. It was just like absolutely huge. Yeah. And had pretty much any store that you could possibly want. And it was like sort of like American style mall.
Yeah, I mean, it had Forever 21.
Cardiff is a big city.
H&M, all that
I don't know.
Do you,
but yeah, Cardiff is a big city.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know the population.
Well, it says here 350,000 was the last time. I think 350,000 roughly.
In 2014.
Yeah.
That's the estimated population.
Yeah.
So actually, that's not all that big. Really.
It's not all that big.
It's about the
size huge city.
Of Austin without surrounding
areas, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit smaller. I guess it does feel a bit smaller than Austin, yeah, when I'm thinking back on it. But it has a city feel. There's a lot to do. Yeah. I think that if you're looking for a city that has a lot of history, has a lot to do, has a cool college-y kind of vibe about it, is pretty in general, I think Cardiff is a cool place to check out. If you're looking for somewhere to go outside of London, but you still want like a city, you don't want to go into the country or, you know, a small town or a small village or whatever. I think Cardiff is a great option, and then you can take another country off your list also.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can take another country.
Yeah.
Or principality, as some people like to.
You can check another country off your list. I'm saying all these British words now.
Tick it off. The next, the Cardiff Bay, we went. Oh, that's where we went. That's a nice area to go around as well.
Sorry, car horns outside.
Car horns outside, yeah.
Yeah, Cardiff Bay is really pretty, yeah.
Cardiff Bay, and, you know, there's like a lot of stuff there, you know, like it used to be a former dockyard, and, you know, they redeveloped it, and now it's like, you know, plenty of fun things to do with kids and stuff.
Apparently they don't have the Doctor Who experience.
Well, they don't have the Doctor Who experience anymore, but they I think they still have TechniQuest,
which is why
it's like a kid-friendly science center, you know, lots of like stuff to do, like learning science and stuff.
Yeah, so if you have kids, then go ahead and go there.
And of course,
I seem to think they had like ice cream places.
Yeah, we went and got ice cream, didn't we?
I think.
And I think you asked, is a Doctor Who filming around here?
It was like,
and he was like, I don't know. Probably.
Yeah. Roald Dahl lived in Cardiff.
Yeah,
you guys. Yeah.
Yeah. He worshipped at the Norwegian church.
Interesting.
Yeah. And, you know, that's where, you know, there's a Roald Dahl Place and stuff for him as well, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and, you know, we have the Senedd there.
Yeah. That, I don't have any idea what that is, and nor do I care, but I just recognize it from Torchwood, so that was like, yeah,
well,
cool.
That's the Millennium Center you're thinking of.
Okay. The Senedd, that was where the government... that was a horrible looking building.
It was a horrible, like, art. It didn't look finished. It looked awful. It was glass.
It was not attractive.
It was glass, and it was like... And I was just like, it doesn't even look finished. It looks awful.
Yeah, I mean, it was not very attractive. It didn't look like a governmental building. Like, when I go to Britain, I'm sorry, but I want to see old buildings. I want to
see, like, Whitehall. Like in London, where they have like old white buildings and...
Well, whatever. The Houses of Parliament, you know?
Yeah, well, yes, that kind of thing.
I want to see a building that looks worthy of being a governmental building, not like some kind of modern art travesty of a building.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. I mean, you know, because the devolution didn't happen until like 1999, so...
Yeah. The Wales Millennium Center.
Yeah,
Sorry, that was the picture we were looking at, and I was thinking that was the Senedd. That's the one that I associate with Torchwood. And it's apparently the writing on that is like the largest written poem in the world or something like that.
In these stones, horizons sing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's in Welsh and English, you know.
Yeah, which is cool, but, you know, I recognized it from Torchwood. So, yeah, I was happy.
I was happy to see that.
I wanted to see...
Doctor Who, you know.
I wanted to see Captain Jack Harkness walk by, or, what was her name?
Gwen Cooper.
Gwen Cooper, yes. Oh, I haven't seen that show in a while.
The National Museum in Cardiff, that would have been a better one for us to go to. We didn't go in there. It's like the rich history of Wales is there, you know, and...
we didn't go to that one, but we went to the Natural History Museum. Because I remember your friend that we were with said he had never been to a natural history museum, so we were like, okay. And we
gotta go.
Yeah, we went in and we were looking at like the dinosaur bones and everything, and it was like your standard natural history museum. It was really good, but it was not really any different than any kind of...
I think it was the National Museum because it has, you know, collections relating to archaeology and stuff. It also has a catalogue of important paintings by Monet and Picasso.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it might have been that one, yeah.
Possibly.
I mean, you know, the Llandaff Cathedral, that's kind of outside of Cardiff, I think.
That's beautiful. No, we did not get to see that, but definitely...
Exterior highlights include the impressive 15th century tower,
Yeah.
While a tour of the interior, either self-guided or arranged through a church staff, will expose you to such features as an exquisite and fully restored 18th century Italian temple.
The cathedral was built in the 1300s on the ruins of an original structure that was built some 200 years earlier.
In its first 900 years.
Yeah. So we did not get to see that, but if you guys like old buildings, I'm looking at this picture now, and the Llandaff Cathedral, it looks definitely worth seeing. Yeah, that looks
it's
really,
the best
really awesome.
known of Cardiff's many pretty churches, and certainly one worth visiting. So yeah.
There's a lot of, just as like a side note, there's a lot of old, super old churches in Britain, and in Llanachley, in the little town that Dominic's from, I was like, can we go inside this church and look? And he was just like, what? You want to go inside this church? Because it was just, it's a small town.
It's a little church.
Like, it's
usually locked.
Not usually open for tourists. Just like, he was like, I don't know if we can go in. So, we tried. It was locked. If you just try again, though, on like a Sunday when church is actually open, we waited until we thought church was probably finished, and it was.
We went in, and
I went in as people were coming out, and the vicar was like, "What? You want to look around? This is amazing!"
Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, they're kind of.
She was completely amazed that I wanted to see, and she was so proud of her little church. It was so sweet, because she was just like, "Oh yes, you can see. Yeah, I'll take you. I'll show you around." She was so happy that I wanted to like.
So happy that the first tourist ever had come in there. No, because it was though. Because I mean, she goes, because I said to her, yeah, this place is usually locked. Every time I pass, it's locked. And she goes, if you've lived in Llanachley, you know of its social problems.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, unfortunately, that's why it would be locked. Because it's like kids freaking vandalizing, drunk people getting in there, and all
it's a shame.
So that's why all the churches are like locked. You'd think the churches are always
unless
open
they're
to
the grand cathedrals that like everybody, all the tourists went to come and see.
I mean, if there's a tourist element there, then but
I mean, the thing about it is these churches, like this little church that we went into in Llanachley, I'm pretty sure like it was from the 1600s or something. It was not. It
was. I think it's Llanachley's oldest church.
Yeah, and it was just like, what? You mean to tell me no tourists ever want to come in here? And it's just like, not really. I guess, yeah. Oh, and she was so excited to show it to me. So if you're ever in any little town and the church is closed and locked, like just go on a Sunday, and probably the vicar or whoever will be like super excited to show you around and want to show you around.
Was it St. Fagans we went into? Because I know I went there on like a school trip once. St. Fagans National Museum of History.
Again, we're just talking to each other as if you guys aren't here. Sorry about that. Sorry that happens from time to time.
That's a national history museum.
Oh no, I don't recognize that.
And it's it's a living museum with costume characters demonstrating the kind of traditional skills.
Oh my god, that is somewhere I definitely need to go.
Yeah, like coal mining and all that kind of stuff. Blacksmith and all the kind of stuff that went on in Wales years ago.
Yeah.
And well-kept gardens and workshops and mills and everything. really cute.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of places in and around Cardiff that are worth seeing. Yeah, Caerphilly Castle is the next thing on the next item on the agenda, and this is definitely one that I saw when I was like Googling castles to see around Britain because it's huge.
Caerphilly, yeah.
Yeah. And
Caerphilly is also known for its cheese.
But where is that? Because that's not like directly in
no,
Cardiff.
it's a 15-minute drive north of Cardiff.
Yeah.
Caerphilly, it's its own like place, so
like its own kind of town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are all like built by the English, most of it,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun to explore, and it can easily take the best part of the day to see it all. So yeah, it's quite a big castle. I mean,
yeah, it looks like, I think because.
And that's also in Castle Street in Caerphilly.
Of course. Yeah, because there's a lot of like castle ruins, obviously, around Britain.
There's so many. There's a lot.
There's probably more like that are in ruins than that
there
are whole.
in the structure, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's a castle in Swansea
that's
kind of in ruin, but it's still there, it's still...
Yeah, part of a piece of
the structure. There's a structure still there,
yeah. So when you look up castles to go and see, there will be a huge list, but there's only... I mean, I don't want to say a few, because there's still quite a lot. But as far as, like, super old, like, medieval era castles, there's not a whole lot that are, like, full that you can go in.
Yeah. They
still have the rooms, attached. A lot of them are just, like, the walls, and they don't have ceilings anymore, or things like that, But that doesn't make them any less cool. They're super, super awesome to still go and see.
What you got to remember is Wales has the highest concentration of castles in the UK, so most of the castles are in Wales. If you want to see castles, you go to Wales.
I think I read somewhere that, like, every town had a castle.
Yeah.
At
some point, yeah.
Because it's like it wouldn't have been a town if there hadn't been a castle there, because the castle is where the lord or whoever lived in.
Yeah.
That ran the town, and the town existed because of the castle, basically, so there are going to be ruins, or at least, like, the spot where the castle once stood. I remember going in Llanachley, actually, and there was, like, this is where the castle once stood, there's, like, a plaque there, and, like, it was, like, a round area, like, oh, this area would have been the moat and everything, and it had,
that's
like,
at Sandy Water Park, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. So,
there's, like, water still there, but there's no castle. It's destroyed. Well, it just fell to the ground, I guess, and just nobody maintained it, or they just took it all away and, used it for other things. The next one, though, is Castell Coch, which is the Red Castle.
Oh, yeah.
Castell Coch is Red Castle in Welsh. That's in Tongwynlais. Tongwynlais. It's an area of Cardiff. It's only 200 years old, but it looks like a little Cinderella type.
Yeah,
thing,
it's got the little, like, turret. Is that what you call it?
Yeah. It's attractive turrets and towers. It looks like it popped right out of a book of fairy tales.
Very cute.
And that was the indeed intent of it. It's the third Marquis of Bute.
Yeah, I mean, 200 years old is not bad.
But the Marquis of Bute, he wanted to create a castle that looked like a fairy tale castle.
Yeah.
And so inside and out, the attention to detail and everything, it's cool for going, oh, this is like a little fairy tale castle,
It looks like somewhere where people would probably, like, want to get married.
Yeah.
Doesn't Cardiff also has, like, a big sports team, don't they?
Well, they have the Cardiff, they have rugby. Cardiff City are the soccer team. I think it's the word football, soccer team.
But do they have a big stadium then in Cardiff?
Yeah, they have the Millennium Stadium.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking.
Well, I think, what's it called now? The Principality Stadium? I forget what it's called now. Principality Stadium. It's basically, oh, no, this is Cardiff Arms Park. That's what they call Cardiff Arms Park, is where the rugby matches are all kind of, like, held. And I think they have Millennium Stadium too, which is, like, the big one, which is, like, like, where they have, like, a lot of, I think they built that for the Millennium. Mm-hmm. And it's, like, where a lot of, like, Rugby World Cup tournaments, like the Rugby World Cup finals being held there and stuff. Yeah, the Six Nations.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But, I mean, that's probably, like, a big music venue for
big
artists
Cardiff
to perform
Park,
in. I mean, in America, that's where all the big artists perform, is at stadiums.
Yeah.
So.
I think this might be it, actually. I think they just rebuilt it and everything, so I don't think there's two stadiums, in case anyone's confused. It's Principality Street.
Dominic hasn't been to Britain in a while,
I haven't
guys.
been, I mean, I can't remember what is what there now, and what they've done, so... It's a lot, it's a lot. It's a lot to remember. But yeah, there's the Cardiff Story Museum. That's another museum.
Yeah.
About Cardiff story. And as for famous people from Cardiff, I'm going to say Shirley Bassey. She was from Tiger Bay, though. But she was actually from a place called Splot.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't sound the girl from Splot doesn't sound as good as the girl from Tiger Bay, does it, But yes.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about Cardiff and all its things, so, if you want to go to Cardiff, then it's quite an easy trip on the train outside
This website that we're using has nothing to do with our podcast, but if you want to, it looks like it's pretty well organized.
Yeah,
and gives
planetware.com.
Yeah, it gives you some ideas of places to stay and how to get around and all of that. So yeah, planetware.com if you're interested in learning more about Cardiff or booking a trip. We'll give them a shout out because we're using their website to give you information to help jog our memories.
Yeah.
It's been a little while since we were in Cardiff. So.
Yeah. And we'll visit when we go back, and we'll probably vlog about it.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, hopefully.
We'll make videos.
Hopefully we'll have money one of these days, and we'll get back to traveling around.
Once we have money to travel, then we will definitely be traveling with it.
You'll see some vlogs and more up-to-date information about some of these places. But yeah, so if you enjoyed this information, if it was helpful, informative, any of that kind of stuff, please do give us a review on whichever podcast application you're listening to us on. Give us a review or a rating. That helps us tremendously, and we would really appreciate that. If you happen to be watching this or listening to this on YouTube, give this video a like, because we are on YouTube for anybody who doesn't know.
Tea and a Butty.
Yeah. Check us out in all the places. Our website, of course, is teeandabuddy.com. That's TEANDBUTTY.com.
We thought the A, but...
Oh, T and A Butty. Yeah. So check us out in all the places. We're on all the social media sites, and we'll talk to you next time.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks. Goodbye.
Bye.